Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and it's good to have you with us. Another work week, and boy, we're already in December. Hard to believe. We're wrapping up the year very shortly. It's good to have you with us live on Facebook and YouTube, and my co-host this morning, Dr. Nicholas Cox. He is the History Department Chair at HCC and our co-host for Up to the Minute. Nick, good to see you always.
Good morning, Todd. And as always, we're live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page and YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
That's right. So good to have you with us to kick off this work week. Nick, did you have a good weekend? It seems like Monday always comes too fast, right?
It was a great weekend. My dad came down from Dallas, but yes, it went fast.
It went fast. All right, Nick, stick around because we're going to get on with the show. And you're going to be interviewing this next guest we're going to introduce. Jess Holland is the development director for Fort Bend Habitat. And she's joining us this morning, welcoming her back to the show. Jess, good to see you always. Thanks for being here again. Let's see if we can get you. There we go.
Hi, sorry. Thank you.
That's all right. So I know you guys have, we'll be talking with you about affordable housing in the Richmond area, a project you're working on. And we're going to check in with you, hear all about that, get an update in about 10 minutes. All right, stick around. We're going to kick things off. It is Mental Health Monday. One of our returning guests, Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick, the Executive Director of the Jung Center of Houston, our Mental Health Monday guest. Sean, always good to see you. Welcome back to the show.
It's great to be back. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, y'all, for having me.
So the holiday season is upon us right now. Yeah. And I hate to say this, but people may get triggered. Maybe the stress of the holidays, being around family you don't want to be around, and you got to. But we can all get triggered. And we want to talk about today what triggers are and what you can do about them. So let's start off with what can trigger you, Sean.
Yeah. Oh my God. Everything can. I was not triggered as you were giving that narrative, but I was definitely recalling moments when it's happened in the past with, around family members. And there's good reason for that. So maybe I can start with what a trigger is, right? So in trauma theory, triggers are moments when we are reminded, usually on a very unconscious level, of an overwhelming experience or maybe multiple overwhelming experiences that we've had in the past, right? And so when we have this experience, our bodies take us back to that moment. And we're familiar, probably many of us are familiar with the notion that when we are experiencing a threat to our lives, we have three or more, we could say maybe more, but three fundamental impulses. One of them is to run away, to flee. Mm-hmm. Another is to fight. And a third is to freeze. Another one that is being talked about more now is tending and befriending, right? Sort of fawning over the person to try and make sure that the threat doesn't materialize in our lives. In any case, we can feel this when we watch media, when we encounter somebody who might have been involved with that in the past, when we just hear somebody else's story that reminds us of those experiences, and suddenly we're back in it. Suddenly our bodies are responding the way that they did when the threat was present.
When you are triggered by certain things, even if you're not actually in danger of having a new trauma, our bodies may act that way. Yeah. What can you do about it when you are triggered?
So we've got a great acronym for this. It's called CARESS. And it stands for three things. It stands for communicating alternatively. The second is to release endorphins. C, that's the RE. And then the last SS is self-soothe.
Okay. And I'll throw in a personal thing. Sometimes during, approaching the holiday seasons, people may be a little leery of wanting to deal with someone, especially if they've gone through a traumatic experience. You want to treat them with kid gloves. How do you do that when you want to, if you're being treated with kid gloves and you want to communicate alternatively? Do you change the direction of the conversation? Like, don't worry about that. Like, oh, I don't want to offend you with this. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So Kid gloves is a great metaphor, right? So kid is this goat, very soft goat skin, right? When you're treating someone with kid gloves, you're just touching them very softly. You're trying not to evoke a response from them, right? And I think we have lots of ways of doing that. One of them is frankly avoidance, right? Is that we find ourselves trying to not be in situations where we might have emotionally difficult conversations. But another one I think would be to get into what the person's experience is, to talk about. Often I think one of the conflict emerges around clashes of values, and it ends up getting framed in lots of difficult, like intellectual ways, when really getting closer to what that person is actually thinking and feeling, what experiences have led them to have the values that they have, helps to sort of soften some of that, helps to reduce some of the tension. Communicating alternatively in trauma theory, it means often words are like, our experience is bigger than the words that we have to express it, right? There's a lot of what we experience that can't actually fit into words. Yeah. So, doing things like drawing and singing and moving, a lot of the ways we think about art and art, the Jung Center, we really value art as an expression of who we are and what we're dealing with fundamentally in our emotional lives, as a way of helping us to regulate, right, and to navigate meaning in our lives. And all these ways of creative expressions that don't necessarily use words, or use words in different ways, maybe not in rational ways, can be very helpful.
Let's talk about one we all love, releasing endorphins. I know I certainly try to do that with a little bit of exercise, and that seems to be the best way. What are some other ways to do that?
Yeah, that exercise is very big for me too. We have lots of different ways to release endorphins, and some of them, I think are pretty obvious things that we would normally think of, like exercising, engaging in sexual activity, laughing actually is a great way to release endorphins. Endorphins, by the way, are it's a combination of our words endogenous, which means internal to the body, and morphine, which we all know is a way, so it's endorphin. It's a way of releasing this endogenous morphine, these chemicals, right? Meditation is a great way of doing this, getting a massage, and actually petting animals. I think physical contact with your pets is a wonderful way to release endorphins.
What about self-soothing?
So, when we're kids, babies and children learn how to do this, instinctively very early on. It's an essential skill to acquire. How do we relax when we're in distress? We need ways of relaxing when we're in distress. My son, when he was little, he would get the tag on the monkey, little stuffed monkey that he had in the bed with him, and he would just rub it and rub it and rub it and rub it and rub it. That's a self-soothing technique. I think what we're looking for are ways that experiences that we can have through our senses that change our moods. So taking a bath, right, for instance, affects touch. People we had just recently, we had a group of Methodist hospital staff here using essential oils as a way of sort of putting together their own little self-care package of essential oils. So things that we could smelling cookies or flowers, things like that, listening to soothing music. I'm a big fan of getting outside and being in nature. I think it's very, very helpful. And also, I honestly, comforting and soothing old television is really good for me. I love MASH. I like the Bob Newhart show. I'm not always in the mood for that, but often if I feel like I'm a little agitated, struggling with something, they just like putting an old blanket on, watching some of these shows.
Well, you've just helped me now, because my girlfriend always gets on me for watching old episodes of King of Queens and Family Guy. So now I've got an excuse for it. I'm self-soothing, and it's been prescribed by Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick for me. So I'm going to use that one as my go-to, Sean. You can
absolutely any way I can help.
At the Jung Center, you guys have a lot going on. I know one thing you have going on through December, you have an art exhibition happening. Had a chance to see it when it opened on opening night. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that and how long it'll be going on for.
I can, yeah. So thanks, Todd. The show is called Holes, and it's a group show of representational artists here in town. It is just fantastic. One of the things that's neat about it is that the artists have included their studies and some of their preliminary drawings, and work so you can see the creative process in motion. And you can also, for the show, you can actually purchase prints. I bought one of them, actually. It's not sitting right here. I'd show you. You can, for relatively inexpensively, $25, you can purchase small prints. And there's actually an interactive feature to the works. You can listen to narration and music and other multimedia elements that are intended to accompany the work.
And as always, everyone's welcome, and there's no charge to see the exhibition. Is that correct?
No charge to see the exhibition. We are open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. most days during the week, except for Friday we close at 4. We're open on Saturdays 10 to 4 as well.
Well, Sean, as always, we appreciate you being here. I recommend everyone going out and checking out the art exhibition there while it's there. Check out the Jung Center, and we'll have some information on all your social media and your website in our social media post after the show.
Thank you so much, Todd. It's great to be here. Have a wonderful holiday season.
You too, Sean. Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you again soon.
You bet. Bye, y'all.
All right, we're going to turn things over to Dr. Nick Cox. And Nick, you're going to be talking with a guest who's returning to the show to update us on one of their ongoing projects.
That's right. Welcome back to the show, Jess Holland. Jess is the Development Director for Fort Bend's Habitat. Welcome back to the show. Before we get this particular project in North Richmond on the discussion, I'd like to have you tell us about Fort Bend County's need for affordable housing in general.
Hi, thank you for having me back on the show. So yes, I'm the development director here at Fort Bend Habitat for Humanity. I know that a majority of people know who Habitat for Humanity is, but we are an international organization. So we have over 2,100 affiliates across the US, and we're in over 77 countries. We are all independent, but so we all have different programs. For example, for us, we have new home construction, but then we also have disaster relief, critical home repair, and our age in place program. So we have been having a lot of meetings with a coalition that has been run by the Fort Bend Health and Human Services. This year, they have done a community health assessment for all of Fort Bend County, and they have determined there are 5 major needs in the county, and one of them is affordable housing, and the other 4 are medical issues. So whether it's mental health or obesity, there's different programs, but affordable housing is the only one that's not specifically medically related. So they're
in a position to address that critical need with all the experience the organization has. Well, I'm a Fort Bend County resident, and I care about affordable housing. So I'd really like to hear about this new project that I was reading about this morning in North Richmond.
Okay. So our new home program is basically where families who have 50 to 80% of the income apply through us. They are qualified for a home. And our next project is Hope on the Brazos. So it is in Northern Richmond. It's a 6.5 acre tract of land that was donated to us by the George Foundation. And we are going to be building 15 new affordable homes for low-income families in Fort Bend County. When it comes to the need of Fort Bend County, there's affordable housing more than ever is extremely important. And I think that after the pandemic, it's really shown in light. People are finally starting to see how hard it is for families to have that basic need. In Fort Bend County, over 44% of rental households are spending more than 30% of their monthly income on housing, and they want that below 30%. The national average, the benchmark, is 25.5%. So we're almost 20% higher in Fort Bend County than the national median. And then actually over 11% of households are spending more than 50%. So with this assessment, they haven't done an assessment in quite a few years. And with this assessment, it's really shown light in Fort Bend County how much we really need affordable housing. Luckily, our plat finally got approved, so we are starting in the spring with the infrastructure. But it's shown that in Fort Bend County, someone has to have 3.2 minimum wage jobs in order to afford rental housing of a 2-bedroom apartment. And that's if the apartment's at $1,208 per month, which I don't know if anybody out there can find a 2-bedroom apartment for that amount, which means that they need to make at least, an individual would need to make at least $23.23 an hour at that amount. We haven't seen anything under $1,500 a month, but so as a Habitat affiliate, that's our mission. We build safe and affordable housing. Our mortgages are in-house and they're 0% interest. So our mortgages range anywhere from $450 to $750 a month, which even at our highest range is still half of what it would be to rent a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, that sounds like it could go a long way towards reducing some of this low-income housing needs in the county. Fort Bend has a sort of reputation as a growing, vibrant, and affluent suburb of Houston, but there are certainly pockets of the county where people are paying an extraordinary amount of their income for just trying to rent something and hang on in the county. So I think our audience is going to see some before and after photos, and I was wondering, this construction project, these before and after photos, is this the new home project, or is this the Hope on the Brazos project that we're seeing?
So the before and after photos are Miss Bertha. One of our newest programs a couple of years ago that we've started is Age in Place. So one of our free programs is that we will go into seniors' homes and do home modifications, whether it's threshold ramps, widening doorways, tub to shower conversions. We'll put in grab bars. Basically, our goal with Fort Bend County seniors, there's a lot of citizens hitting senior citizenship over the next few years. And we've seen a lot of seniors who have had to leave their homes and go into different centers. So we will actually go in, do these modifications, so that way they can continue to live in their home safely. Miss Bertha is an example that, Harvey hit her home, and these seniors have been living with black mold and all kinds of really bad health situations. And that's where affordable housing and decent housing in general can prevent up to 300 different diseases. So just having that, not only that, but having that money every month to put towards home repairs or childcare, food, clothing, things that your family really needs, it all stems from affordable housing. So this would be Miss Bertha. These are the before and after photos. It took us about 3 weeks and a lot of volunteers to complete this project.
No, that's great. And considering that 4 of those other critical needs areas were health related, anything housing can do to reduce health crises seems like a really great investment. So tell me a little bit about the new home construction program.
Our new home construction program has a application process. We open it up a couple of months before we start building a home. The homeowners are required to put in sweat equity hours. So they help build their home or somebody else's home, 200 to 275 hours, depending on the homeowner, their age, if they have kids, those type of parameters. And then they sign a mortgage with us. So it's 0%. It's at the market value, and then they become homeowners. So our mortgage obviously stays the same, but that $450 to $750 a month includes escrow. It includes their taxes. It includes all of their, flood insurance, those type of insurances. So it's, again, half the cost of an apartment, and they own the home. They can do what they please. We do have a lien on the home for so many years to make sure that, they're not trying to flip the house and make a profit, but they become homeowners. And with that program, they're required to also have certain financial literacy courses, which will help them in the long run, understanding how to budget and how to fix a home. Our homes also come with a 1-year warranty where we'll go out and repair anything that needs to be repaired. So we are just trying to set up families in Fort Bend County to be self-reliant. And we've talked a lot about mental health issues. And when it comes to mental health, a lot of those also stem from the fact of, one, people are so stressed out financially that it's causing anxiety and causing all kinds of things. And then on top of it, they don't have medical coverage.
Right. Those kind of financial stresses and housing stresses must really add to mental health issues. So Jess, we've got about a minute or two left here, and I want to ask you, how can members of the community help with Fort Bend Habitat? for Humanity? Are there avenues in place for volunteers or for donations?
Yes. So our Hope on the Brazos project, just the infrastructure alone, is going to cost us close to $600,000. We have a section on our website at fortbendhabitat.org that says ways to give. So we take in-kind donations at our Restore, which is our resale shop. It's all building materials, home decor, furniture, appliances, things for the community at a deeply discounted rate, especially for those families who really need those. We take the in-kind donations. We have different sponsorship levels for our homes, for our programs. So community businesses, churches, individuals can partner with us to build the homes. And again, right now we're raising funds for the infrastructure for Hope on the Brazos in northern Richmond, which will start in the spring. We're hoping by the end of January, depending on the weather. And we do have some volunteer opportunities. A majority of them right now until the project kicks off in the spring are at our Restore, or we actually have a playhouse program where companies come out and build playhouses on site here at our office. And then we have other groups transport them, assemble them, and paint them at Habitat Family Partner Homes. So anybody with children, whether it's somebody who's already had a house or we've just built a house. So.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Jess. I'll make sure that we get the links on our show notes so that people who view this interview can follow up and perhaps contribute in some way. So thank you again, Jess Holland, Development Director, Fort Bend Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you both. We've got a few announcements. You were talking about our exhibition earlier out at the Jung Center. Well, there's several on our HCC campuses. One of them ends today, so get out there and see it. The Northeast Student Exhibition runs through the end of the day today. It's an in-person exhibition of Northline art students' works. It'll end, and it also includes juried awards in drawing, painting, design, and digital media. It's happening through today at the HCC's Northeast Northline Gallery. We'll have some information on it in our post. And there's another one at our Central College, Nick.
That's right. Very similar program as the semester comes to an end. There's a Central Campus student exhibition today, also ending today. That Central in-person studio art exhibition includes juried awards in printmaking, drawing, painting, watercolor, design, ceramics, sculpture, digital art, and photography. And it's also through today, December 5th, entirely free at the HCC Central Fine Arts Center Gallery.
The painting and photo works of Houston-based artist Sol Diaz explores the poetic and comforting relationship between nature and man. That is happening through this Friday, December the 9th. So you got a week left to go see it. It's out at HCC's Southeast East Side Wedge Space Arts Gallery. Long name, great gallery. Check it out. We'll have a post in our show, in our information after the show. And there's also a Monday night big band performance happening tonight.
That's right. If you're a fan of the arts, especially live music, the big band ensemble students will perform various standards of big band music tonight, 7:30 p.m. at the HCC Northwest Performing Arts Center, Theater 1. Registration is not necessary, but we'll have a link for more info in our post after the show.
You know, if you are a student and you're looking for some work opportunities, have you tried the work study program? Well, eligible work study students are encouraged to take advantage of this program where you can earn and learn. You don't have to pay the money back. You're actually working. It's part of your scholarship, part of your financial aid package. So it's a really good deal. We do hire a number of work study students across the college in many different aspects. Many of them work for us here at HCCTV. We'll have a link in our post after the show where you can learn more about that. And Nick, I want to talk about spring 2023 registration. This year, it seems like we're doing something different. Maybe you can explain how this works, because we have some start dates that start in December 2022 and they run through April of 2023. That may be a bit confusing. How does that work exactly?
Yeah, the spring semester enrollment is open. And we also have a 4-week winter mini session that starts Monday, runs from December 12th into early January for about 4 weeks during the holiday break. So that December winter mini session is a part of the spring term. Enrollment's open. Classes on that session start Monday. So enroll as soon as possible. But our regular term starts in January. lots of classes in every modality available right now. We have classes on campus. We have classes online. Those on-campus classes may be traditional. They may be hybrid. They may be labs. Our online classes meet in the online anytime modality, which means there's asynchronous, no meetings. We have online on a schedule if students prefer to take classes online with virtual meetings. And we also have online hybrid lab classes as well.
Nick, I would imagine those mini semesters, especially in the history department, those are courses that people need as their core courses. Do they go pretty fast? And it seems like they're very accelerated.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think, well, a couple of things. The class is a very short class, but the amount of classes students can take simultaneously is also greatly limited. And so if you were to take a class like history or English with a lot of reading and writing, you're going to be doing a lot of reading and writing over the winter break. But if you're only taking one class at a time, should be fine.
Okay. But the main thing is get signed up as soon as possible because those classes can fill up fast. I know you guys will add more sessions, but you need to know how many students you have.
That's right. That's right. As classes fill, I add more. But at some point, we run out of time. So classes starting on Monday. You got a couple more days left before the schedule's pretty fixed.
Yeah, so make sure you register today. Go to hccs.edu/apply. All right, and tomorrow on the show, Tasty Tuesday. Hey, check this out. El Tiempo, one of my favorite places. I loved El Tiempo. I missed the location on Montrose. It's just not the same, but I love the restaurant. So they're going to be here tomorrow. We'll be talking tamales. Great subject for the holiday season. And Alberto Urbina, Dean of our Smart Manufacturing C&E, will discuss the CNC programming. You want to learn more about that? That's happening tomorrow as well. Nick, thanks for being here. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Have a good one today, folks. We're back live tomorrow, 10 a.m. for Up to the Minute.